Miles might actually be the only one who can save the multiverse in the upcoming Spider-Verse film, and the main reason behind this is that he's considered an anomaly. What this means is that the normal rules, the usual canon events that govern what should happen, don't really apply to him. Basically, Miles wasn't supposed to become Spider-Man in the classic sense, so he doesn't have to follow the typical storyline or fate that other Spider people have had to follow. This uniqueness sets him apart in a way that could be crucial for how things play out in the next movie. Now, this also ties into his relationship with Gwen. Gwen really loves him, but she's also very scared. That clock tower scene is a big example of this. It's essentially a moment where she's trying to tell him how she feels, saying,
"In every other universe, Gwen Stacy falls for Spider-Man."
But at the same time, she's afraid to take a real step forward with him. Why? Because there's this canon thing that keeps hanging over them. Every time Gwen falls for Spider-Man, something terrible happens, usually that she dies. This canon event has become almost like a curse around Gwen and Spider-Man's relationship. Lots of people think there's a strong chance she might die in the next film because of this, but that's probably not gonna happen. It would actually go against everything the franchise is trying to say. The whole point of these Spider-Verse films is about breaking away from old stories and limiting beliefs, about writing your own story instead of feeling trapped by some supposed inevitable fate. The canon events are there to be challenged and honestly broken, so it makes much more sense that the movie will continue to push away from this idea that Gwen must die just because she falls for Miles. On top of that, I think there might be some confusion about this whole canon event thing. It might not even exist the way Miguel thinks it does. Speaking of Miguel, it was confirmed by the directors that his character actually represents people who don't like Miles as Spider-Man.
You're not supposed to be Spider-Man!
No! You're lying! I'm Spider-Man!
You're a mistake!
Ah!
You don't belong here. You never did.
He stands for those who don't accept Miles as the real Spider-Man. That's why some people root for Miguel but don't like Miles. Miguel is kind of like a personification of that gatekeeper mindset that says Miles isn't the true Spider-Man. Miles's story, in contrast, is about doing his own thing and writing his own path.
Everyone keeps telling me how my story is supposed to go. Nah, I'm gonna do my own thing.
He knows he is Spider-Man, and he wants to make his own choices without being held back by expectations or old rules. In the next movie, one big decision Miles faces will probably be choosing between saving his father or being with the girl he loves. Right now, there's a lot of pain between them. Gwen has hurt him, and he's deeply hurt by what happened, but even with all that tension, he still loves her very much. We don't know exactly how their relationship will unfold in the next film, but it's safe to expect a lot of emotional ups and downs and complicated feelings. After everything that's happened, their interactions are bound to be tense and full of unresolved emotions. One big question that everyone seems to be wondering about is whether he will actually be able to break the canon, the established storyline that's been repeated in Spider-Man narratives, and have a happy ending. This is especially interesting because in most Spider-Man stories, happy endings are really rare. Usually, the story ends in a more tragic or sad way. But with Miles, a lot of people are hoping the next film will give him a happy ending, something that feels fresh and different from what we've seen before. This hope is even stronger when it comes to Gwen, whose story so far has been mostly tragic. In most versions, her fate involves her literally falling and dying, which has become kind of a heartbreaking pattern. So this next movie could be the chance to finally change that for her, to give both Gwen and Miles a chance to be happy together, which would be a big shift from the usual Spider-Man formula. Right now, some people have a complicated view of Gwen. Since the last film ended at such a crucial moment without really resolving things, a lot of people feel a bit conflicted about her, especially because she ended up hurting Miles emotionally. But that conflict is actually a key part of the story. It creates a lot of tension between her and Miles that's sure to play out much more in the next film. Many, myself included, expect that Miles will be cold or distant toward Gwen at the beginning of the next movie. Trust has been broken, so it makes sense that he wouldn't just open up to her right away. But as the story goes on, it's likely he'll slowly start to warm up and rebuild that trust. Gwen, on her part, has been holding her feelings in check for a while now, trying to keep them inside and not act on them. But the situation has flipped this time. Miles isn't the one chasing her anymore. Now it's Gwen who has to put it all out there and be honest about what she feels. According to the canon, there are two really important things that Miles needs to break. First, he has to save his father from the danger caused by the spot, which will definitely be one of the biggest challenges he faces. Second, he has to break the tragic storyline that always follows Gwen and Spider-Man's relationship, the pattern where their story ends with tragedy or her death. So for Miles to truly break free from the old rules and the expectations that have been set, he needs to accomplish these two things: saving his father and being with Gwen, making their happiness together possible. There's no doubt that he has what it takes to do all of this. He's a strong character with a lot of heart and determination. But the way it all plays out, the details of how he breaks the canon, how he saves his father, and how he rebuilds his relationship with Gwen is still a big mystery. This mystery is part of what makes the upcoming film so exciting, because no one really knows what's gonna happen or how Miles' story will unfold. Many are eagerly waiting to see how the movie will show him breaking the rules, facing tough challenges, and hopefully finding a happy ending, not just for himself, but also for Gwen, who deserves a better story than the tragic one she's been stuck in for so long.